This episode of Test Drive is brought to you by Elmec and their EV Duty Smart Home Charger.
There really is no debate. I love the Honda Clarity. We drove it twice in 2019 and it even won some of our awards, including the best plug-in hybrid electric vehicle that we featured in 2019. But here we are now 2 model years later as we wrap up 2020 looking at the 2021. And there has been zero change with the Clarity Hybrid Touring. And not only has there been no change in terms of features, design, or anything, it hasn't even seen a small change on the inside, it has gotten a significant price increase. Now, if you were to buy a 2020 here in Canada, you would have been paying an extra $590 over the 2019 that we featured. Okay, inflation and whatnot certainly can make that price go up. We see it across the board with pretty much every vehicle. Usually they go up by a couple $100 every year. But this year, for 2021, the price has increased $3,515. That is a $4,000 price increase over the last 2 years. And why? Well, I guess because Honda can. Because Chevrolet no longer makes the Volt, the plug-in hybrid extended range vehicle that we featured back in 2018, it means that the Honda Clarity is the only long-range plug-in hybrid vehicle sold in Canada. Now, we've talked about the Clarity before. As I mentioned, it was our #1 vehicle in the plug-in hybrid segment for 2019, so it makes sense that we would still like it here. But that price increase, that is changing things a little bit. It does qualify for the provincial and federal tax rebates here in Quebec, so you would be saving $13,000, but still, I mean, it is a lot of money for this car. The only other thing that's different for 2021, aside from the astronomical price increase, Moonlit Forest Pearl paint is no longer available. So if you liked green, you're out of luck. You can get this burgundy though. And that's about it. There is nothing new about the Clarity. So then why is it that I have one? Why am I spending an entire week with a car that I've featured before? Let's go find out. I've talked before that there isn't a perfect car. Nothing exists out there that A, would work for every single person on the planet, but B, I haven't come across a car that works perfectly for me. Everything tries to get there, but obviously the perfect car does not exist. And that's where the Honda Clarity comes in. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the best plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. It's definitely not the best car, but I do like it a whole lot. Now, I might be the only person on this planet that actually likes the design of it, which is really strange, and maybe part of the reason why I like it so much is because I'm the only person that likes it, but I do like it. It's different. Still reminds me of that Accord Cross Tour or the Acura ZDX. Two cars that, honestly, I can't remember the last time I've seen one, but one that I would buy. I was actually really tempted to get a Cross Tour a few years back. But aside from the looks, what is it about this car that I like? Why do I keep wanting to drive this despite the fact that I've done it already twice? Well, I don't know. I mean, it speaks to me. I love electrics. And even though I could get away with something like the Hyundai Ioniq that we featured a little while ago, that only has a official range of 274 kilometers, I can get everything done that I need to in that range. But I do like the plugins because, should I decide to go on a road trip, I could do it because the infrastructure here in Quebec is decent enough that I could get away with charging it up often. But there is no level 3 charger on this, so you're out of luck if you want to actually supercharge this thing. You're stuck for a couple hours. And B, you only have to buy one car when you have a plug-in hybrid like this. And this really is the range that we should be seeing across the board for plug-in hybrids. Honda says 76 kilometers. We know that we've done about 80 fully electric. We're in fall, so it's a little bit cooler now. We're seeing an estimated range closer to 65 at this point, but that's a good range for what I would imagine most people can do on a single charge. even for me to go back and forth to pick up this car is about 90 kilometers. But I'm an exception here in Quebec. Most people don't live as far as I do and commute into Montreal every day. So for a lot of people, a 70 kilometer range can be done in one direction. You get to your office, you get to wherever you're going, you can plug it in for a couple hours, and when you come home, it's fully electric. The thing is, there is nothing else to compare this to. Now that the Chevrolet Volt is gone, this is it. And that likely is why the price has gone up for this, because Honda can. They've got the only car on the market, so they can charge a little bit more. But if I were engineering a plug-in hybrid electric car today, this is the range minimum that I should be going for. A 17 kilowatt hour battery is easy enough to fit in a vehicle like this. Battery technology has changed in the last several years. I mean, this came out in 2017 as a 2018 model year, so there should be no reason why you could fit, a slightly bigger battery in this vehicle, but also why other vehicles in this size segment couldn't go plug-in hybrid with more range. That's been not really a complaint, but when I drive some of the other plug-ins, that limited range of about 30 kilometers just doesn't get the job done for me in my situation. But 76 absolutely does. But the rumor that I keep hearing, and I've heard it essentially since we featured the first Clarity that we did last year, is the Clarity might not exist in North America. They might just kill it off, which is a bummer because A, electric cars are the future, whether you want to believe it or not. But B, this is such a good car. If Honda invested time and money into it, it could be even better. Similar to what we talked about when we featured the Ford Fusion plug-in hybrid. I really liked that car. And if the range was just a little bit better on it, if it had the same range as this, I would definitely take the Ford Fusion because the Fusion looks just like any other car. It's got a little bit more features than you get with the Honda Clarity, and the price is astronomically better. But when it comes to this, because Honda's essentially just forgotten about it, you're not getting the best of the best. That's a bit of a bummer. What does the Honda Clarity do well? Space in here is good, it's comfortable, even though I do find the seats are just slanted a little too forward. It would be nice to have a little bit more support with my legs, but space is good, trunk size is decent, even looking out the rear is better than it was on the Ioniq. I can see out that upper rear window much better than I did with the Hyundai Ioniq. Negatives on this car, again, infotainment and the overall hybrid information is pretty limited for what we'd like to see. The design might not be everybody's cup of tea, but that'll always be subjective. And then the real pain in the butt this year is the price, a $3,500 price increase. At least if they added more, they added some features to this and maybe bumped up the range a little bit, I could justify the price change. But they're really just pricing it higher because Honda can. And I think that's a big disappointment. The problem is, I could tell you just go and buy a 2020, but good luck finding one here in Quebec. They are really hard to come by. And I imagine it's the same in other jurisdictions where the Honda Clarity is sold. It's just impossible to find them. So you can go and find a 2020, you can save that $3,500, but good luck because the supply is limited. The demand for this is still pretty high.